You're listening to How to Drink Less, and I'm your host, Adriana Cloud. Whether your goal is to cut back, take a break, or say goodbye to alcohol for good, this podcast will help you stop drinking on autopilot, learn how to manage cravings, and feel fully in control around alcohol. It's easier than you think. Listen on to find out how. Have you ever felt like part of you knows that you want to stop drinking and rationally you understand that alcohol is taking more than it's giving, and you have all the reasons why it's a good idea to quit or at least cut back, but another part of you finds it really hard to say no in the moment? That tug of war is completely normal, and there's a really helpful metaphor for what's going on in your brain, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. The idea comes from psychologist Jonathan Haidt from his book, The Happiness Hypothesis, and it was popularized by Chip Heath and Dan Heath in their book called Switch: How to Change Things When Change is Hard. I just recently listened to Switch as an audiobook, and I found it really fascinating because they talk about change in different contexts, from personal habits to change in large organizations and even changes across the population. So, if human behavior interests you, or at least if your own behavior interests you, I highly recommend that book. So, the idea that Jonathan Haidt came up with and that the Heath brothers developed further is this metaphor of the elephant, the rider, and the path. And once you understand how those three elements factor into behavior change, you will have a very different appreciation for why it's so hard to choose a cup of tea over a margarita, even though you're fully on board with why the tea will be beneficial to you and the margarita would not. So imagine you're riding an elephant down a path. The rider is your rational brain, your logic, your goals for the future, your plans for how you're going to achieve those goals. And the elephant is your emotional brain. That's your desires, your impulses, and your cravings. And the path is your environment, the places you hang out, the people that you spend time with, and all the triggers that you're exposed to. And if you want to create a behavior change, you have to direct the rider, motivate the elephant, and shape the path. That's the idea in a nutshell. And let's break down what that actually looks like for a habit like drinking. First, your rational brain, the rider. That's the part of you that decides to turn over a new leaf and vows to drink less this weekend. It's the part of you that signs up for challenges like Dry January or Sober October, or creates rules like no more than 2 drinks on a weeknight. The writer downloads the Sober Counter apps and listens to podcasts like mine and reads Quidlet books. It thrives on logic and data, but it struggles in moments of stress or when you're in the grip of any intense emotion. What this looks like in practice is that you start the day with the best of intentions, but by 5 p.m., your rider is exhausted, and when the craving for the wine hits, the rider struggles to stay the course. All those reasons for why you wanted a night off the booze suddenly go out the window, and the elephant takes over. The elephant is your emotional brain, and it's really powerful. The elephant is driven by desire and instant gratification. And to be clear, that's not a bad thing. It's not that the rational part of our brains is better than the emotional part of our brains. It's just that they're wired differently and they serve different functions. They want different things. Your emotional brain wants to feel good right now. It wants to avoid stress and anxiety and discomfort right now. It wants to be comforted. It wants relief. It wants connection right now. That's the part of you that says, screw it, I've had a hard day and I deserve this. It doesn't care about your Sober Counter app or the promises that you made to yourself this morning. And this is why white knuckling it doesn't work for the long term, because the elephant is usually a lot stronger than the rider. You might know why you want to stop, But if the elephant isn't on board with the new behavior, it will drag the rider along to where it wants to go. You cannot force the elephant to behave. You have to understand it and work with it in order to motivate it to go where you want it to go. And then there's the path, which is your environment. The path includes your routines, your friend group, your Friday night plans, your liquor cabinet. And it also includes things like how much sleep you've had, how hungry you are, do you have a toothache, and so on. Basically, it's all the external factors that are likely to affect your desire for alcohol. So, if your friends only want to hang out at the pub, your path to sobriety becomes more treacherous. It's full of potholes. Or if you're surrounded by bottles of alcohol everywhere you look in your house, you're not making it easier on yourself to choose an iced tea. And now that you understand each of these components, let's look at how to work with each of them so that change becomes not only easier, but inevitable. Step one is to support the rider. That means making clear, specific plans, not just vague promises to do better come Monday. It means anticipating obstacles and planning for cravings, planning for how you talk to yourself when you're tired, planning for what you will tell your best friend when they call you and ask you to meet them for a happy hour. It means using tools that can support you, like journaling, coaching, or therapy, instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping that you will somehow manage to resist temptation. Step two is to motivate the elephant. This looks like getting really clear on your reasons for wanting to make changes in your drinking habits so that you can remind yourself of those reasons again and again. Who do you want to be around alcohol? What do you want to be able to say about yourself? What do you want other people to say about you once you've kicked this habit? Motivating the elephant also means celebrating small wins and any type of progress because the elephant loves rewards. And step three is to shape the path. In other words, to change your environment and your surroundings, to make alcohol less convenient, and to make the alternatives more accessible. This can look like not keeping alcohol in the house for a while, or buying only half bottles of wine, or meeting friends for a pastry and a walk instead of meeting at the pub. It might even look like saying no to some invitations for a while and opting to stay in rather than going to your favorite bar with your friends that you used to get regularly drunk with. It looks like stocking up on non-alcoholic beverages, planning fun things to do on a Friday night so you don't have FOMO, or maybe signing up for the expensive gym class early on Sunday mornings so that you'd be more inclined to go to bed early on a Saturday and not skip that class. And yes, ultimately, you want to feel in control around alcohol in any situation without having to go out of your way to avoid it. And you will get there, I promise. But in the beginning, there's nothing wrong with helping yourself. If you're learning how to swim, you might want to eventually be able to swim in the ocean when there's big waves, but you probably want to start in shallow, calm water and practice there. And learning not to drink is a skill that you also get to practice, like swimming. I hope it's clear by now that if you don't address all three components of behavior change, your rational plan, your emotional drive, and your environment, then change becomes a lot harder. You'll either stall out, stay stuck, or you will burn out. Real transformation happens when the rider knows where to go, the elephant wants to go there, and the path makes it easy to move forward. And this is exactly why coaching can be so powerful, because we work on all three levels. First, we give the rider a clear direction. You probably already have reasons you want to stop drinking or to cut back. You know the risks to your health, and you know that you sleep better and you're more productive when you're not waking up with a hangover. You have logic on your side already, but you're still stuck. In coaching, we help your rider get clear and focused. We work on anticipating and normalizing cravings, organizing support and self-care, and practicing tools that actually help you follow through, even on hard days. You will learn how to stop sabotaging yourself with perfectionist fantasies and instead how to take the small steps that will start moving the needle for real. In coaching, we make a concrete plan to reduce decision fatigue and minimize guesswork and improvisation. So instead of a vague, I'll try to drink less when I go out with my friends for Rosie's birthday next week, in coaching, we get to here's what I'm going to order, here's the tools I will use when my friends start getting tipsy and I feel triggered, and here's how I will respond when someone says one drink won't hurt. The next thing we do is we motivate the elephant. Listen, it's really hard to think your way out of a habit that's emotionally charged. I know because I've tried. You cannot logic your way out of drinking if you're drinking to comfort yourself. Insight alone doesn't create change. In coaching, we work with the emotional part of your brain, the part that is scared to let go of alcohol and thinks that you need it to cope or to belong or to feel safe. That's why we explore the positive intention underneath your drinking habit, and we help you to develop coping mechanisms that are more aligned with who you want to be. That way, you're not just resisting temptation, you're actually teaching your brain not to want alcohol. That's how change starts to feel natural instead of like a daily battle. The key is to do this without judgment, but with kindness and with curiosity. What are you trying to feel when you drink? What is the alcohol helping you to avoid feeling? These are the questions that we explore in coaching. And I will teach you how to talk to yourself differently, with more self-compassion, and how to celebrate every win along the way because progress breeds momentum. And finally, we help you to clear the path. With me as your coach, we look at your routines, your triggers, your social life, your calendar. We find the friction points and we discuss what are some practical changes that you can make to set yourself up for success. Not by restricting yourself, but by making it easier to make healthy choices. Maybe that's helping you adjust your Friday night plans, or maybe it's talking you through how to set boundaries with friends, or maybe it's just making sure that you're eating enough protein and getting enough sleep so that you're not running on empty all the time. So there you have it. If you've ever felt like you're fighting yourself because part of you wants to change, but another part of you just doesn't want to let go, it's because you haven't addressed all three components of change. And now you know how to fix that. And the good news is that you don't have to do it alone. Change is a lot easier and faster when you have guidance, accountability, and someone in your corner who gets it because they've been there. And that's me. I would love to help you to create the beautiful, sober or soberish life that you want, whatever that looks like for you. We have 7 weeks left of the year, and I promise you that 7 weeks is more than enough time to make huge changes in your life. Book a free consultation via the link in the show notes, and let's help you to change your habits so you can finally trust yourself around alcohol again. Take good care, and I'll talk to you next week. If you're looking for practical advice for how to say no to alcohol and say yes to yourself, you will want to get on my email list. Sign up to receive my free guide with 7 steps to kickstart your sobriety. The link is in the show notes, so go and grab it now, and I'll see you soon in your inbox.